in honor of President's Day, I want to encourage you to read more about our presidents. And there's so many books out there, and there's so many great books out there about our presidents. But I want to recommend 4 to you that are maybe not what you would go to first, but are really, really good and can give you better insight on where we are and where we've come from as a country. This one, The Accidental President by A.J. Bain. Wonderful, wonderful book about the first few months of Truman's presidency. Imagine being president or vice president for less than 3 months, knowing absolutely nothing about the national security situation. FDR dies, and Truman gets thrust into the office, and shortly thereafter is told, guess what? We've been working on an atomic bomb. And he's got to bring World War II to an end. He's got to deal with all of the drama. And this book just does a wonderful job of laying out what he had to do in those first few months of his presidency to keep us from really going off the rails. So highly, highly recommend it. Alan Gelzo's book, Abraham Lincoln, Redeemer President. Not the typical biography of Lincoln. There's a lot of great biographies of Lincoln out there, but this one really digs into how Lincoln's understanding of his ideas worked with his understanding of religion and how people understood Lincoln. And it's just a great, great analysis of Lincoln. One of my favorite presidents, who's sometimes not given the due that I think he deserves, is Calvin Coolidge. And I can think of no better biography of Coolidge than Amity Shlaes' wonderful, wonderful biography just titled Coolidge. I would recommend, if you want to know more about the man that people called Silent Cal, probably the last president who was truly conservative economically in our history, worked diligently to cut the budget, to save the government money, to pay down the national debt, and just was a phenomenal, phenomenal person at those kind of things. So I would recommend Amity Shlaes' Coolidge. And then the last one is not really a biography of the presidents per se, but a book that deals with the dynamic of the presidents as they related with Billy Graham. This is The Preacher and the Presidents. It looks at the relationship that Billy Graham had with the presidents from Harry Truman all the way up to really to Barack Obama, but more so to George W. Bush. And all of it goes into that dynamic and the relationship that he had, particularly with Johnson and Kennedy and with Nixon, and just how his whole ministry got tied up into his relationship with the presidents and the impact that had on our country. So all of these wonderful reads, highly recommend them. Have a blessed President's Day.